You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming, and programming in other great music formats, like blues, urban, including rap, also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy. Recently, the owner of Facebook had to face Congress over personal information on Facebook users. In addition, users were saying that their postings were being deleted. Getting sick and tired of your censorship and your data being used without your permission? Do something about it now. Come to MeWe, the internet social site that values your freedom. No more deleted postings. Make a step to freedom. Sign up today. It's easy. Go to www.MeWe.com. That's M-E-W-E. MeWe, the internet's free speech social site. America's Street Music is back on GJRB Bluegrass with the Grassgolds, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back, and on more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle, with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites too. Every third Saturday at 3 o'clock p.m. Central on GJRB. Great memories and trivia are coming up on the return of radio, television, and movie classics. I have more original sponsor openings from classic TV shows Bonanza, Rawhide, and The Danny Thomas Show. Retro Primetime takes you back to primetime TV on Saturday night in the summer of 1968. I have a whole new crop of trivia questions for you to answer. And I have more commercials from defunct products. Join me, Gary Russen, for nostalgic fun on radio, television, and movie classics. Coming back Friday, March 8th at 3 o'clock p.m. Central on GJRB. You're listening to The Last Tango in Paris by the Jazz at the Movies Band. Wrapping up the Gary Russen program for our Friday afternoon as we get into our final hour of our program. The Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the program wherever you're listening as we're wrapping up our program this hour. 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music as we wrap up this program. This hour we're going to give you our program schedule tentatively, what we're going to do and what's happening on GJRB. So tune in for that this hour. And also see if we can get some listeners out there. Nobody's been listening the past hour. It's been kind of a slow day in the old radio station. But I know there's people out there. We just have to find them. They're out there. They're listening on fabulous places like Spotify and possibly even Google Podcasts, which I'm not sure yet. I submitted, I think, but I don't remember if I got any answers on it. But we'll check that. Also, a lot of other places, including Facebook, which is blocking us. But I'm going to post anyway and see if we can get some action somewhere, because we're offensive to those people, Check another place like Convo and MeWe and see if we can get some action from there somewhere. And wherever we're available, including, but it's great to be on Spotify. It really is. I'm hoping that could get some action somewhere. Spotify, they told me that I guess it takes like about a few weeks to really be established on there. So I'm not sure exactly. Maybe by then I will be recognized. Right now, though, I had to search for my name on there in order to find my show. And but I think after a while, I guess you can be established on there. And I don't know. Like I said before, just keep on trying. Just keep on rolling with the flow here, and just play some music if it gets a little slow, as we continue the Gary Russen program this hour here on GJRB Online. And we're going to go ahead and pull that up, the scroll through social media. So I'm going to go into my page there and pull that up and get that ready to go. And pull that off as we continue. We're going to go into Twitter right now.
Social media.
Let's do it.
Let's scroll through social media.
Yeah, I had to do that twice because I had the volume down too low the last time. Oh, well. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to clip out of this. I'm going to clip out of this and go back into my main page on my Facebook. And we're going to flip over now to the other social site, which is let's see. Twitter, which we're going to go into just a little bit. But meanwhile, Quad Cities on Air recently, another death of a local disc jockey in this area was a DJ on a country station here, WLLR, died. Bojay Spates, I think his name was. I used to listen to him quite a bit, WLLR. He says he's a bad golfer, but he loves the game. I thought that was good. Let's see what we else here. What a loon. Kamala Harris. There's another left-wing liberal nut. Kamala Harris emphatically declares that she will prosecute Trump if elected. Boy, I see some of the action on this puppy. One posted, imagine that, a former DA from the land of the fruits and nuts, thinking that she has enough to prosecute a sitting president. And on top of that, it wouldn't be her prosecuting anyone. It would be her independent-minded. attorney general that would be the one prosecuting. And someone said, knock yourself out. Another one putting a donkey on the picture. I thought that was kind of funny. So there's some good ones there. Keeping it classy, Clinton. What's this? This is from the scanner site. The door opened, and they got some kind of piece of furniture sticking out of their car. What's up with that one? That's from my posting. Let's go down further here. I'm on Facebook right now. Kind of going further down the page. Let's see what else we can find here. Some interesting things. It just gets better, doesn't it, folks? I'm telling you what. Got some interesting characters in this town. Seriously interesting characters. Can't beat this. Not even with a stick. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Here's another one. And this is Mindy Blizzard. She's got some really good postings. I like her postings. She does a lot of stuff with end-time prophecy. You need to get a hold of her. She needs to listen to our show. We have the last 7 days. This is a good one. Church of Satan finally opening in Colombia. The world is coming to an end. Share this. Every Christian should know we need to go into prayer. Don't fail to share until every Christian sees it. So I'm going to put that under my save file, and we will plaster that all over because, really, I'm going to put that under opinion, but I'm gonna save it there. Going down the page a little bit, Maze Donuts. That's Pittsburgh, I think. Look at that. Okay, let's see what we got. Some more stuff interesting here. ABC News Tonight with David Muir has a posting here. Calling posted this. What's this? Is this the Sears Tower? Looks like it. Okay. Interesting. Was someone on the deck or something? What's up with that? I'll go down the page. What else we got here? Let's hear the story. Let's see if there's a story behind that first. Visitors of Chicago's Tower, otherwise known as the Willis Tower, which I always will still call the Sears Tower. City's tallest building captured video. It appears to be a show showing cracks on the floor of the skydeck ledge. Showing cracks on the floor on the skydeck ledge. Look at that. Oh my goodness. We want to get on that now? Don't think so. Oh, brother, look at that. Anyway, they're showing cracks on the that is scary. I wouldn't go on that anymore. That's not good. Let's go down the page a little bit here. Go further down. See what else we can find. Let's see. Alligator seen swimming in the Texas lake with large knife sticking out of his head. Ooh. That's from Spaced Out Radio. Interesting. This is an interesting story. I'm going to pull that up. This is real good. Let's see. Let me find here. Look at that. The alligator was seen swimming around the Texas lake with a large knife sticking out of his head. Wow. Somebody must have been defending themselves against that gator, or else he wouldn't have got a knife stuck in his head. Some of the postings on that one, some of the comments. Let's see if we have any comments on that. See if there's anything on there. No comments. Okay. Let's go further down. So what else we have here? Two high school grads remembered after deadly lightning strike. Ooh. This is from Trib Live. My friend's wife Janet posted this. This is an interesting story. Coming out of the Trib Live. As soon as it comes up. See what this is. Right here, a few minutes. It's taking a while for this thing to come up. Okay, there it is. For the Trib Live, two high school girls being remembered after a deadly Monmouth Park lightning strike. Sergio Bell would FaceTime every night with his best friend, Catherine Rosenthal, nicknamed Bubba, took to the prom, and it goes on to say that, let's go down the ways. 100 students and family members gathered Friday in Greensburg Central Catholic High School to honor Rosenstiel and Donna Aurora and McGowan of North Huntington, 18-year-olds who were killed Thursday by a lightning strike at Mammoth Park in Mount Pleasant Township. So is this somewhere near Pittsburgh? I guess it is. Sounds like Mount Pleasant Township. I've heard that before. McGowan played baseball in Greensburg, so this is the Pittsburgh area, Greensburg Central Catholic, and slated to attend the University of Pittsburgh this fall. Rosenstiel, who played soccer at Ringgold High School in Washington County, recently signed to play a team in West Virginia at Wesleyan College. There's a 45-second clip here. I don't know what that is. Let's check that out.
2 weeks ago, I was proud to announce the graduation of Brendan McGowan, one of our top students here at Greensburg Central Catholic. Yesterday, I was devastated to learn the details of his passing. I called you all here today because I wanted to make sure that you knew what an outstanding young man he was and how much he'll be missed. Brendan was a member of the National Honor Society and the winner of multiple scholarships and awards. He was also the second baseman for a baseball team. Beyond all of his awards, activities, and accolades, he was a genuinely good person. He carried himself with a quiet confidence that made him a respected centurion. I had the opportunity to speak with his family today, and they are grieving deeply. We ask for your prayers for them at this time. We are working on making arrangements for grief counselors and a prayer service for the school community.
Okay, that is staff from that high school. So these kids were hit by lightning in Pittsburgh during, I guess, one of the recent severe thunderstorms. That's sad. So we're prayers and comfort to that family. Not a very great way to go. Okay, coming up in just a little bit, stay tuned. We're going to go into the next interesting 4-year-old took a great-grandfather's SUV for a joyride to get candy. Ooh, how did he manage to pull that one off? The young one drove for like about a mile on a busy 4-lane road during the heart of the morning rush hour. Good grief. In big trouble for that one. We're going to go to Twitter here in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB online on Spreaker across America. The Gary Russen program. You're invited to join me. I hope I got a few in the chat room. Your comments are welcome. And if you are listening to this after the fact, in other words, if you're listening to this as an on-demand podcast, welcome. And you can leave your messages here anyway, even if I'm off the air. I check my email. My email will tell me if I have a comment on my Spreaker. So just leave one anyway, even though if I'm off the air, because I will see it and respond. Not always. Sometimes I'll miss it, but if I find it interesting that I want to respond to it, I do. I want to thank... I still have to go back over there. It would be under Music and Memories. Someone enjoyed our Music and Memories show. And I want to thank her for that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that we did have someone who enjoyed our Music and Memories show. It was on my recent Music and Memories, and I can't remember what part it was in. But thank you so much for that. Really appreciate your feedback. Really do. Thank you so much for that. All right, so let's see the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. We're going to return here in just a few minutes with weather on the 5s. Take a look at our Clinton weather forecast and stuff. And then we'll return with more of the Gary Russen program in just a mini moments. Stay tuned. This is the GJRB Online Network.
You hear great jazz on
GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming and programming in other great music formats like blues, urban, including rap, also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on news and information at the bottom and the top of every hour from the GJRB News Desk and the KROS Information Center daily on 108. And we're back on the air, the Gary Russen program here on Spreaker, GJRB Online, as we are closing out this edition of GRP for today. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And even if you're just listening as after the fact podcast, thank you too. So just get into some more stuff. We'll do weather on the fives at about 5:35. As you know, we do in our freestyle shows. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour on all music shows, 25 and 55 on all talk shows, or any time in the hour that ends in 5, 5, 10, how do we do this stuff? 5, 10, 15, whatever. And we'll get you your weather here on GJRB Online. And not too late to get your comments on some of the stuff we've been talking about this afternoon. Bowling. We had the fact that we had, those earthquakes. Wasn't that interesting this past week? Wow. Could you imagine that? I mean, really, the earthquakes. Just amazing how we had that. Rattler in Cleveland, Ohio, and then we had the other one in central Pennsylvania. So you have to wonder what's happening here with that. It is. It's interesting. Let's see. I think it's interesting how this whole thing is like, wow. So where the next eastern earthquake is going to hit, or Midwest or whatever along this New Madrid fault line. I mean, it's really interesting to find out exactly what the deal is here. I mean, so that rattler in Cleveland, Ohio, shook up a lot of people. I mean, good grief! Can you imagine how frightened a lot of people got on? What was that? Sunday night? Was that Sunday that quake hit? I think it was Sunday. Anyway, I mean that's wild. So you gotta wonder what's up. Really. What's the kick here? Fracking is part of it. They're messing with a lot of things in the ground. But and a lot of that fracking, especially in Oklahoma, and all those areas like that is probably doing it. Crazy. Really is. Just have to wonder what's happening here. So your comments on that. We get 50 minutes of nonstop talk. We continue and we wrap up the program this hour. So we're going to be closing out the Gary Russen program for today here on GGRB Online. Tomorrow afternoon, by the way, we'll be back at 3 o'clock with the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. My guest, Ben Osan, if we can get him on. I hope that Ben will be able to make it and be on with us tomorrow. We're going to ask him if he felt those quakes. That should be interesting. I kind of wonder if he, whatever part of Pittsburgh he's in, because they said it was felt in Pittsburgh, so you have to wonder how many people felt that. So that's interesting, and your comments on that. As we continue the Gary Russen program in our 50-minute music hour here on Spreaker, got a lot of stuff going on, and Monday I don't think I'll be on the air. I'm working on some production. I've got some promos to record and a few other things, and then Tuesday, I got some other things I got working on way out there. I'm working on radio, television, and movie classics, getting some stuff together for crooners, some more crooners I found, so we're going to be working on that one. I've got, I'm going to replay all the other crooners and voice tracking, so we're going to be bringing that back. And I'm hoping that when we bounce up to our 3-hour plan, I'll be able to broadcast a lot more often. Now, that's what that's my goal here. So I'm hoping that maybe perhaps we'll get some listeners in when I boost up to that plan, because then when I go to 3 hours, I'll be non-stop. And maybe I can get some accomplishments on this program. So, without having to break so much. Other than I do promo breaks for my own benefit, because my voice can't handle talking straight for 3 hours. So I have to have the promo breaks. Plus this is a radio station and a radio network. So I do run promos and I do run music and stuff. So, I do that, but it's only so that I can expand this, each segment to last me a little bit longer. And that's the whole idea behind that, getting this program on and keeping it on the air. So I'm hoping that maybe perhaps we can get some audience. That's the whole idea behind this thing, is to get the radio audience I'm looking for. And hoping maybe someone out there will listen to the show and enjoy the stuff we do here. So we're going to work on that one. Weather on the 5s right now. Let's take a look at our Clinton weather forecast right now. Okay. Let's see why we're not hearing it. Oh, I know why. Okay. See, if I don't hear it on my monitor, then I think it's not broadcasting, but when I play it back, it was. So let's just go there. Weather on the 5s right now. Let's take a look at the Clinton area weather from our friends on the Weather Underground. We're going to do that right now from Mayer Farms at Eagle Point Park. It's 73 degrees right now. 73, winds north at 6 miles per hour. Gusting to 16, I believe that, because our trees are moving out pretty good out here on our side of our Spreaker Studios. And our barometric pressure, 29.80 inches of mercury. We have 54 degrees on the dew point, 47% relative humidity, and visibility is 10 miles. Sunset, let's take a look at our sunrise sunset here. Sunrise today was at 5:26. Sunsets tonight at 8:38. So there you go. Civil twilight. What is that? Nautical twilight. That's interesting. What is that? Light, visible light. Length of visible light, 16 hours, 20 minutes. Length of day, 15 hours, 11 minutes. How about that? We are now, what is today? Today's June 14th. June 14th. And we are kind of headed into the full moon stage. Headed into the full moon stage right now. So let's take a look at our weather forecast. We have a 70% chance of precipitation tonight. Showers and thunderstorms, low 61 degrees. Wind south-southwest, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 80% chance of precipitation, 26 inches. 80% thunderstorms, 79 tomorrow. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, looking at thunderstorms, low 62 degrees. Winds east at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Once again, 73 degrees at the GJRB Spreaker Studios. And that's our weather on the fives today. Weather on the fives, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour on all music shows, 25 and 55 on all talk shows, all on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. And the Gary Russen program drawing to a close pretty quick. Thanks a lot for tuning in this afternoon. Why don't we, I was going to do Twitter. Don't have time. Got some other stuff to do. So it's time to head and pop in our shout-out time. So we always do that this time. So we're going to go into our music and our recent sites and do our regular shout-outs. And see what's happening tonight on Spreaker, as we have what's on Spreaker, what's happening, what's going on, who's on the air now, who isn't. We can do that. See what's happening along the way here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm Gary J. Russen, Spreaker on the internet radio, where you can find a lot of these great programs. Many podcasts. That's probably why I don't get as big of listeners, because we've got some great people on here who do just as good a job as I do, or even better, including Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative, heard every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 6 o'clock Pacific. Talks about a lot what's going on in the world of news. Got some commentary. Lately, he's been having his son Alex on. They've been having a good show with him. Absolutely fabulous. Tune into him. 8 o'clock Central Daylight from Wisconsin. And then coming from the great state of Houston, you can tune in to some great 80s hits. Jamming with the 80s. Great hits. Got an 80s show coming up here on Spreaker soon here on GJRB. Tune in for that. But he does a good show. And that is the Black Dragon Radio Network. His name is BJ. He comes from LaPorte, Texas. Has a great show. Tune in to some of his 80s hits. Play some really good stuff. Tune into that. The Black Dragon Radio Network. Also on the line there, you can tune in from the great state of Illinois, where J.P. Pritzker says, well, we're going to sign legislation on this abortion thing. Anyway, Illinois, the state that went broke thanks to Blagornovich. Anyway, listen to Bob Huber. The Huber Experience is also heard here on Spotify. He has a great show. Just kind of gets into a lot of stuff. He gets crazy at times, but he's funny. You gotta check this guy out. He's great. That's Bob Huber, the Huber Experience. Tune into him. Usually on Tuesdays. I think he does a lot of Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoon. Sometime he does the Huber Experience. Check that out. He want to know about what's going on in the world of sports, the world of video games, the world of motion pictures, great films, wrestling, you name it. This guy's got. We're going to have him on talking about wrestling one of these days. Bob Huber, the Huber Experience, right here on Spreaker. And tonight at 6 o'clock, I don't know if she's on anymore. I got to check and find out what's going on with Debbie Scott, the Debbie Scott Radio Network. She's not on as much as she used to be. She used to be on every night. Anyway, Debbie Scott Radio Network, she has a great variety of music. Her and her husband John from North Florida. Check them out. They play some great stuff, a variety of 80s all the way up to today's current music. record charts, you name it. They do some really good stuff. The Melting Pot is absolutely fabulous. That's one of my favorites. Debbie Scott Radio Network, 6 p.m. when she's on the air. Weeknights at Central Time for the Debbie Scott Radio Network. Good stuff. And then you got the Black Dog Radio Network, and they're fabulous. These guys are funny. You can bust a gut laughing at these guys. They're hilarious. I've listened to them a number of times. Same with the Wicked Pissa Show and all that guys. These guys are just too much. Anyway, but you want to listen to one guy in particular, 7 mornings a week, give you great inspiration and talk. A good friend, Mike Myers, and the Radio Hope Network. You can listen to him on great places too, like Good Talk Radio Network, and of course his very own radio station on TuneIn called Muck Radio. It's fabulous. TuneIn's free. Just type in his name there, and that's Muck Radio, and you'll get a great Christian programming there. Great preachers, and they also include some our Spreaker people, including Bob Huber, and also OBFSU, our big fat soft underbelly. Listen to him. There's another man who puts this point across. Does it very well. OBFSU for the great state of Houston. John, you gotta listen to him. He does his stuff on Wednesday nights now. 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 8 o'clock Pacific. And the Belly Blast. Tune to this guy. He's fabulous. So, yeah, we have him on our 9-foot signal, usually on Saturdays. And then occasionally here on our other station, 107.9, our 9-foot signal. Talk FM 108 between Rush Limbaugh and in this show. The Belly Blast. This guy will tell it like it is. Listen to him, our big fat soft underbelly. And you can find all these guys, you know how? By getting on the GJRB Spreaker public site. It's www.spreaker.com/user/150525. Go under followers, and you'll find all the followers of GJRB, all the ones I mentioned, and a lot more. So tune into those guys. They're just great internet radio at its best. GJRB and its fine people. The great community of Spreaker. A fabulous platform. And you could be on this. You know, it's just that simple. And that reminds me that our shout-outs, podcast shout-outs, I'm going to call that. It's just called podcast shout-outs. Podcast shout-outs. I like the name of that. Brought to you by Spreaker, where you too can be a DJ like me on doing this program. And you can have it too. I just set up an account. Get your name in there, and it's free for 15 minutes. Or there's some great premiums, like the one I'm on, the On-Air Talent, but I'm going to be boosting up the broadcaster. On-Air Talent gives you 100 hours of free, 100 hours of space, and 45 minutes of broadcast time, which to me isn't enough, but you can stretch it out. That's what I'm trying to do. 45 minutes of broadcast time, and you get a lot of really good programs there. You get some really good shows, and you can follow me and follow a lot of people on here as well, including even another great David Scott in the great state of Columbia up there in Canada. That's a great show, too. You have to tune into this guy. Talks about UFOs, talks about alien, talks about, what does he talk about? Oh, yeah, paranormal. Talks about aliens, talks about all kinds of stuff of the bizarre. Does a lot of interesting news. You want to listen to this guy. He's fabulous. His name is David Scott. He's up there in Canada, and it's called Spaced Out Radio. On tonight, 11 o'clock, and I'm going to go back to giving you the guest lineup on that show. He just started a new website. I haven't looked at it yet. Apparently, he just upgraded it. So I'm going to have a look here sometime. But you have to check it out. He does a good show. Spaced Out Radio, Dave Scott. 11 o'clock Central Time. That's 11:06 Central Time. 9:06 Pacific. And he does a really good show. Talks about a lot of weird stuff. So tune in with him. So check that out. And you can find us, like I said, and just get on Spreaker. That's Spreaker, Spreaker. It's spelled wrong on purpose because it is a broadcast platform. And you can find a lot of good here at GJRB, some great programs. I'm going to be slimming down my programs. After I take this brief flip over to finish up the show, I'll tell you what some of those are. Why don't I do that right now? Station identification. We'll be right back. This is the GJRB Online Network.